Hello, everybody, and welcome to week 6 of Shadowcast. I am your supreme gourmet host, Tejjy, and these are my animals, Szerro, Keishi, and special guest, WonderMelodies from Shadow Nexus. Say hi to everybody.
Hi, WonderMelodies here.
Eat your veggies.
Sorry there?
I am here. What is up?
All right. So we got a lot to get through today, but most importantly, like I said, we have a special guest, WonderMelodies, on the show today. So, WonderMelodies, let's introduce yourself a little bit. Who are you?
I am a Shadowverse Twitch streamer and newly minted tournament organizer who wishes to really become cemented and help the Shadowverse community grow and develop.
All right. And you're with Shadow Nexus, right?
Yep.
Stuff. So tell us a little bit more about yourself. How did you first get into Shadowverse?
I've always been into like card games. I've been in, I mean, not always, ever since say junior year of high school. I've been into like Card Fight Vanguard. I've been into Future Card Buddy Fight. I learned a little bit of Magic, but I decided, nah, that's a little too more expensive than I'm willing to get into.
Oh, Magic's so expensive.
It gets all of us.
Yeah, basically. And then I sort of like, one day I was just sort of looking for a new game to play to get into, and on Steam I saw Shadowverse, and I'm like, oh, yo, those are some cute anime girls, and it's a card game. So, like I tried it, and it was like, wow, this is actually really fun, because I haven't really gotten into a game very much, and this is the first game where I've like, wow, I'm like legit like into it. So that's why I sort of wanted to start with the streaming and casting and now hosting of events and interacting with the community to help it grow.
So well, Shadowverse is the first game that you streamed?
Yeah, it is the first game that, and the only game that I've ever streamed other than that one day I streamed Dream Daddy. I do plan to do more of a variety of stream, though currently I'm focusing on Shadowverse.
That was on like your 24-hour stream, right? That was like a week ago?
Oh gosh, I tried to do it. It was going to be a 12-hour stream. I got through 7 hours, and then my body was like dead.
I don't even think I could do 7 hours of streaming. I don't blame you.
Like, nah, I need to get more prep for that. Like,
oh man,
I don't even think I could play 7 hours of Shadowverse, to be honest.
Oh no, that's I did like 4 of that and then switched.
One of my first weeks of like playing Shadowverse, I had like one night where I was up until like 7 in the morning, just like jamming it.
Yes, that happened to me. There was one night, it was like right after I got Masters, and I was jamming Aggro Dragon until like I just didn't sleep at all. Like I just stayed up all night, and then after that, I was sort of like, all right, yeah, we're done with that phase of Shadowverse.
I had gotten through the work shift at work, like through the night shift at work. It was like 4 in the morning. I had gotten home, and it was like my second or third week of playing Shadowverse, and I was playing a lot of Roach, and I was really getting into the deck. I was like, man, I really want to play this before I go to bed. So I'll play until I lose one game. That was the words I told myself. So I start at like 4 in the morning, and it's like 7 in the morning, and I'm sitting at like a 19-game win streak, and I'm like, oh my god, I want to go to bed. And I keep queuing up, and I get to a 21-game win streak, and that night I had climbed like 2.5 ranks, and I had climbed the 2nd rank, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. This needs to stop. I need to go to bed.
That wasn't the night you hit Master, right?
No, that was not the night I hit Master.
You said before that the day you hit Master, you just stayed up all night and played all the way through AA in one day.
Yeah, my first month of Shadowverse, I spent a lot of time playing Shadowverse.
Oh wow.
I hit Master within 1 month, which was nice. Like it was like day 30.
I did that on the way to like the A rank originally. I played the game pretty much nonstop and climbed to A rank in like 2 days, and then just slowed way the hell down.
That is much faster than me. I remember I was on it like A2 for the longest time, and I'm just like, okay, I'm finally going up the AAs at a steady rate, but oof, that A2 was a while.
It took Zero threatening to kick me off the team to actually climb to Master.
I remember that. You were not happy.
I just did not want to play a ladder.
If you didn't make it, by the way, I had no intention of actually kicking you.
Yeah, I figured as much. I wouldn't have heard the end of it, though.
Yes, you do it. Yeah. So Wonder Melody, are you master yet or AA?
No, I am AA2 correct at the moment.
Almost there, almost there.
Yes, almost. I'm in the try hard level right now, so
Yes.
fun
Well,
times.
you sort of missed the easy breezy climb. I did my Grandmaster climb almost entirely with Mr. Tove and the boys.
Mr.
Aw.
Tove and the gang.
Tove and the gang.
I
Back when
also
you could just
partook in
pull like
Tove.
a ridiculous 80% win rate.
Yeah. Degenerate. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm
That-
trying
that
to
deck
insult
was
you,
silly.
Tejjy, but it's
Yeah.
not working.
Well, you can insult me, yeah. Everyone, I'm a degenerate Spawn Blood player. Actually, I was even more degenerate. I played Phantom Cat.
It's okay. I
No,
played
that's
it too.
better.
Yeah.
I was
There was a
playing the
little
high
bit of
version.
thinking involved, but it was way overpowered. All right. So yeah, how's everyone been doing? How's Shadowverse been this week? You guys liking the post nerf meta? I know we've talked about this a little bit in the past podcast.
I
How you
have
guys
played,
liking the meta?
I have been playing like almost exclusively Vengeance Blood.
Oh,
I really like.
That's a throwback.
I really like this post nerf meta. I think it's really it's diverse and it's constantly changing, right? You know, right after the
Yes.
nerf, people were playing a whole lot of Shadow and Blood, and then now Nephthys is kind of showing up again,
yeah.
and then
Mhm.
Dragon is going up and down in popularity. There's just so much that people are playing. And
So
it's,
for those of you listening, Mr. Szerro is not just babbling here. Vengeance Blood is having sort of a resurgence right now. Definitely would recommend picking up that deck if you're looking to ladder.
Dude, I use my
Basically
one.
just the old school lists with Big Knuckle Bodyguard and Emeralda will do you pretty well.
I'm currently still jamming a 90% win rate on my Minth Tyrant Shadow deck.
Ooh,
Nice.
that's a fun
Yeah.
deck, and especially I wouldn't recommend bringing it to a tourney maybe, but
Oh,
Yeah.
in
no.
ladder when people don't know you're running it, that surprise factor.
Yeah.
I-
It
I
is
made a
really
deal with
bad.
Keishi.
It's really bad when people know you're playing the Tyrants because they can play around them.
Yep.
Mhm.
I made a deal with Keishi that if I beat him with his Tyrant deck 2 games in a row, I have to play the Tyrant deck next time I go to a tournament, and I have still not played in a tournament.
Get on it.
I got.
Did you
I
beat
got
him though?
Yeah, he beat me.
I did. Yeah, I
Ooh.
gotta play the deck. No, that deck is coming to me next tournament.
That deck's happening. All right, I like it.
You're not allowed to
I
change
like
it though.
it.
You have to play my list exactly.
I think I have not. Send me your list that you want me to play, and I will make sure that my list is the same one.
All right, well you guys heard it on air. Now it's got to happen.
NGE Season 3.
Hey.
Exactly.
It's like that's gonna be the next tournament you're gonna enter.
Zero
out
the
of
whole
everything.
way with
That's pretty
Tyrant
good.
Shadow.
I wait an entire new expansion to play Death Tyrant in a tournament.
Whatever the next expansion is called, we don't even know yet.
Yeah, it should be announced pretty soon. It seems.
Yeah, I'm guessing. My
Next
guess
month.
is that once NGE sort of starts wrapping up, they'll start hyping the next expansion.
I hope it's spooky themed, like Halloween. I want it. It's like gold.
That would be really cool actually. If they
I want-
did like a seasonal themed expansion, that would be awesome. I would be super hyped for that.
I want them to release a full expansion of like filler so the meta stays in this really nice spot that it's in now.
I want them to just make some crazy stuff next expansion. Like not
Yeah,
like
I want new mechanics. It's
Yeah,
been
like-
too long. It's been like 3 expansions or 2 expansions since we got like Clash and Enhance.
Mhm.
when I say like
ROB,
crazy
right?
stuff, I don't want
We
like
haven't
more
gotten a
Spawn
new.
Davis.
We haven't gotten a new mechanic since ROB. I want a new mechanic.
No man, we got neutral. What are you talking about?
No, man, I want a new card mechanic.
Mm.
I want something like Enhance and Clash. I want a new one.
I want a new type of card. I don't know what that entails, but that's what I want.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. Didn't I just this? I just said, like full disclosure. I said I don't know what that entails.
I mean, maybe it means another spawn. You know, you don't know.
I don't want.
Is that
another
what you
Spawn
want?
Davis.
Is that what you want, sir? You
I want
monster.
I want armor. That's what I want. I want to take games to fatigue.
We need
Well,
like
I don't think that'll happen. It's always been sort of the design philosophy to keep games relatively fast.
For those of you that don't know, fatigue is like a mechanic in Hearthstone where you just like empty somebody's deck and just kill them by just running them out of cards.
Yes.
I want a card like Jiraxis. Just replace your leader
Oh, jeez. All
That's
right, that's enough talk about Hearthstone, guys. This is the Shadowverse cast.
Let's
Come
go
on.
on to the
Come on,
superior
alright.
No,
game.
but like just in general,
Moving on, moving on. All
a
right,
card
we
that
gotta
like
talk about NGE. You
replaces your
mentioned it
class
earlier.
mechanic could be neat.
it would be neat, but you know what else is neat? These NGE stats.
Yes, we gotta
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about NGE.
True.
So, just to go over the stats, there's for those of you who don't know, NGE is sort of the biggest ongoing tournament right now. It's in the invitational round robin stages. So there are 3 weeks of qualifiers in NA and EU, and the players that made top 3 or top 4 qualified for this round robin stage. And there is an NA bracket and an EU bracket. There's 2 groups in each bracket. And looking at I guess we'll go over the EU bracket first. So in Group A, we've got our very own HSK Akamaru Red leading the pack with a 3-0 win rate. So talk about that, guys. What do you think? Our boy's doing pretty well.
Yeah, he's playing super well. His dragon play is really impressive, I think.
Oh yeah, he's been on fire. He's been
So-
practicing like a madman for this. He deserves it.
This week, what did he bring? He took Vengeance Blood, right? He took Dragon,
And
Ramp Dragon.
Mid
And he
shadow,
took-
wasn't it?
No, I think he took. Oh no, you're right. Yeah, I think.
I believe it was Mid Shadow.
Yeah.
I forget how he had teched his list though. His
Insider information. I know he's bringing a spicy list next week, so do not forget to tune in for that next week. It's gonna be good.
He's throwing in everything, every
Oh, yeah,
spice in the
he's-
kitchen into this list.
and actually, with a 3-0 record, HSK Akamaru Red is pretty much because there's no one else with a 3-0 record. He is set to go for qualifying. Good.
As
For
well
regionals.
as
Yes.
Sid, since they're both sitting at 3.
Yeah, I was just about to talk about that. In Group B, actually, HSK Suzuni is also at the top of the pack. So we've got a lock on the EUNG.
Yeah, HSK.
Really representing. And actually, really cool thing though is that the second place player in each of the groups, I actually think is both of them are not on team. So any of you guys, we've got Kionis is right behind Akamaru Red and Catch right behind Suzuni, both of them at 2-1. So for those of you guys who think that because you're not on a team or you're not Grandmaster or whatever that you can't do well in NGE, definitely not true.
And
I would say the most important thing is that you just need to practice. These guys are all practicing, all week for every one of these, and it shows.
I think I've seen Catch's name before too. Like I don't think this is the first time I've seen him in an
Oh
event.
yeah,
I
definitely.
think he used to top 16 old EXG tournaments all the time.
So those were the EU standings, right?
Yes, and there's a bunch more players that are not doing quite as well in EU, but hopefully they will bring it up in weeks to come.
So with moving into the North American standards, we have
Tell us about that.
we have Group A. In Group A, we have Gengar sitting at 2-0, MSJs sitting at 2-1, Cure Mango sitting at 1-1, Dis Underwear sitting at 1-1, Chatterbox, is that how you pronounce
Ban
it?
Hactorox.
Ban Hactorox sitting at 1-2.
That's
and
how they
MS
pronounce it on stream.
And MS Noah sitting at 0-2. So,
All right, so I just want to say that I am so happy that Gengar is doing well. I have played Gengar in several tournaments, and I love that guy. He always brings interesting lists, some D-Shift. He's brought Silverbolt Forest before. He's always bringing something cool. He's got really neat decks. He's actually just a great guy. Never BMs. So I'm really happy that he's up there.
Yeah, I love Gengar.
Absolutely.
He's the one who knocked me out of my NGE qualifier run.
Oof.
get dunked, dude.
Yeah.
You know what?
Lost to him in like the fourth round.
Yeah, it's good to see that the guy you lost to is taking it all away.
At least I have that to
Yeah, exactly.
lost to the winner.
And for those of you who don't know, MSJs is of course the previous winner of season 1 of NG. So 2-1 record from him is not altogether surprising.
That's pretty consistent, man.
Yeah.
Pretty consistent. And in Group B, we have Lest sitting at 2-0. We have HSK Pancake Reaper, one of our boys, sitting at 2-1.
Pancake Reaper.
Pancake is the man. We got SN Care sitting at 2-1.
My boy.
We got
Oh yeah.
CPV Bottles also goes by the name Not a Lolicon, sitting at 1-1.
Oh god.
MS Spray Cause is sitting at 0-2, and Dot Hack sitting at 0-2.
So can we, you guys want to talk about Lest in the lead of this group for a second? Because
Well-
Lest was a weekly champion during the last season of NGE. And so he was running this really weird dragon list that looked weird to me at the time. And among other things, had like a 1 of Imperial Dragoon in it. And I fell in love with that card.
Oh, you did. I remember this.
This is why I run it in all of my dragon lists. I love the card.
Or is it because of the Kaiba Seto Japanese voice actor, which is why I won the
might be
leader
that.
poll?
I
Might be that.
actually play the game in English.
Oh, boo.
Yeah.
Not a
Confirmed
weeb,
Keishi, not a
boo.
weeb.
Not a weeb. Not weeb enough.
I'm a bigger weeb than both of you idiots. Come on.
Hey, grow up, man.
If you were really a weeb, you would have called them Bakas. Baka.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
You
not like
baka.
a degenerate cringy weeb. Come on.
Well, I am, so.
Not in public, at least.
So one thing I've noticed about the standings, like we got between EU and North America, we don't see anyone in North America sitting at 3-0.
Yes.
So do you think this is going to be a trend that we see continuing, where the 3-0 players are going to continue to, the people in Europe are going to continue to just like have a better score than the highest in the North Americans?
Yeah, I think so, only because, and I don't want to start like throwing region shade here, but I think Akamaru and Suzuki are by far and away the best players in the EU bracket.
Wow,
And-
those
Well,
are some bold
That's a
claims.
bold statement.
Those are some bold statements,
Some
man.
No,
bold
but I'm gonna-
shilling right
I'm gonna
there.
stand
I
by
mean,
my
you're not wrong,
teammates.
but
I'm going to stand by my teammates, and I'm going to stand by my bold statement. I think they are the strongest players on the tournament bracket for EU, and I think they're going to both 6-0 it.
you know, I think
Both
that would be
6-0.
hard
Is that even
because
possible?
it's
Don't they have to
5-0.
play each other?
I think it would be
Or
hard
5-0
because
it.
they only play 5 games. But
I think they're both gonna 5-0.
All right.
Aren't they
Um,
gonna have to play each other at some point?
No, they're in different groups. So
Oh, they're in
in the
different
round
groups.
robin stage, they can both go 5-0.
That makes sense. That makes
Now,
sense.
I would hesitantly agree with you. I've played a lot of the players in the EU bracket before, actually. But I don't think I've played Ketch or Keenan. And they're both sitting at 2-1. I don't actually have the records right in front of me, but I don't know if Sizz and Aka have played against those guys. I'm not sure.
I think they have. I think
Have they?
I think
Kionis
one
is-
of them played against Catch over the weekend. I
If
don't
Sizz played against Catch already, I think that he's got. I know that next week he's playing against Fatina. I think he can win that one. I know Fatina's been out of the scene for a while. Is just bringing back in his new Crimson Fencer team.
that
I
might be
hope
something
Sizz
to
can win
mention.
that one. As my teammate, but yeah, I would say that as long as they keep practicing, because the thing that everyone's got to remember is that both Akamaru and Sizz have been practicing their butts off all week, every week, to get these records. It's not like they just show up once a week, win a couple games, and then log off.
Eyes
They
emoji.
scrim all the time. So, yeah, I expect that they'll be able to do very well. But in NA, I mean, there are 2 no loss players, so maybe we'll see.
Can you guys think of any interesting decks that came out this week in NG?
I mean, there's always the snowman, but
Mhm.
Oh,
Conjuring
think-
Force.
I think the most unexpected thing we saw was the Tempo Stormhaven list out of Botals.
Mhm.
I
Was
thought it
that one with like the Aegis as well?
Did it run Aegis? I don't
there-
remember.
I forget who it was. I remember there was somebody who brought like a somewhat kind of janky list
I just
that had like a
remember.
whole bunch of win conditions in Haven.
I just remember that in general, Botals brought a Stormhaven list, and I think that was very like out of meta, unexpected.
I would actually say that one of the more unexpected lists was Pancake brought a forest list. Unfortunately, it got banned out by his opponent.
Oh yeah, he did brought a he brought a
Aw.
forest list that got banned.
Forest.
Yeah.
He was against double control though, wasn't he?
I think it got banned one of his games, and the other game it didn't get banned, and he won with it. So
No,
that's
the other
pretty
game
cool.
he didn't bring it.
Well, I'm pretty sure he brought it both games because you played 2 games this week.
What was
No,
his
no,
third list?
you
He had Vengeance Blood.
you submit
And
3 separate deck lists for each of the 2 matchups.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
To one of them, he brought Mid
I actually
Shadow,
didn't know that.
Vengeance
That makes a
Blood,
lot more sense than what I
and
was thinking.
Forest, and the other one was Vengeance Blood, Neptus Shadow, and a Haven list. What did he play?
I don't know. Yeah, I think it was Aegis. But yeah, so Forest, that was pretty cool to see. And Nepthys is something that we've been seeing more of lately, I'd say. What are your thoughts on that? Do you guys like Nepthys? Do you think it's strong? Do you think it's strictly inferior to Kektar Shadow?
I think it has its strengths and its weaknesses compared to Ektar. I think it's really strong in the tournament scene if you're expecting to be able to avoid an aggro deck.
I have never had like a legitimate opinion on Nephthys since I've been playing Shadowverse basically. I just always known it's existed and I've always known I never liked playing against it. But other than that, I never knew if I ever thought it was actually like a scary deck.
WonderMelodies, what do you think? Have you played any Nephthys?
Hello?
I don't know.
Oh.
Hello?
Melodies? Hello.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I thought you said someone else's name. It's one of those decks I haven't played before, but I feel a lot less salty losing to it than, say, Ektar. It's just like, okay, well, there's actually some process that went into everything instead of just like Ektar into Ektar into Ektar and just like 3-3-3.
This actually brings up a very interesting question. So I think I know your answer here, Melodies. But what about the rest of you guys? Which do you prefer losing to, Ektar or Koei?
Oh jeez, because Kawi can be pretty tilting.
I don't like Koei, man.
I don't like because alright. I just want to preface this by saying that I'm a dragon player at heart. So I'm the kind of scumbag who goes around Discord channels saying "Make Lightning Blast great again" and like legitimately means it. Like I legitimately want them to make Lightning Blast great again. And same with Zell. Like nothing would make me happier. So I'm a little bit biased here, but Kawe and Mordecai tilt the ever-loving crap out of me.
Mm-hmm.
When someone drops 2 Mordecais on me and I can't play Bahamut anymore, there's no worse feeling for a dragon player.
I don't even play dragon, and Mordecai is my least favorite card in the game.
Oh jeez.
Dragon is easily one of my favorite classes, and I know the pain that Tejjy is going through.
Oh my god.
Like you just have no way to deal with these cards. Like if they just have the audacity to just like tempo play a Koei, you're just like, man, I can't even I can't play my Ouroboros. I can't do anything.
The card is so good.
Yeah.
It's bad, man. It's bad.
You sit there, and then after good 45 seconds, you sit there and you decide, and you just play your Genesis Dragon and trade it into the Koei. They heal 7 HP. And
or you just drop your Bahamut. You're like.
Then they play a Mordecai.
Or
yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. But no, I would agree with WonderMelodies that at least Nephthys does take some skill to pilot. I mean, I would say that Mid Shadow, the current value versions of Mid Shadow, do take some skill to get to Iktar. I would say Iktar himself is not the most skillful card. Some of the other mechanics in that deck are pretty cool, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Mid Shadow is super nice.
Nephthys shares a lot of those other cool mechanics without having Iktar. So I'd say playing the deck, I prefer to play Nephthys to Mid Shadow. So I play more Mid Shadow, sort of hypocritically.
Same.
I think Mid Shadow is just in a really good spot right now because it's not blatantly overpowered like it was. You know, you don't just drop 1, 2, 3 and you win, or in the mirror like you had to have Zombie Party on turn 2 or you just lost. So you're playing a much more value-oriented game about drawing through your entire deck and just playing bigger value cards. And I think it's much more fun to play and to play against.
So my take on Mid Shadow recently has always been that I love it. I think it's tier 0 for the sole reason that I don't think you're really ever disadvantaging yourself by taking it to a tournament. There are some other decks that people are jumping on the hype train of. Dragon, Vengeance Blood, both really strong decks. But in my opinion, you can snipe both of those decks. You can bring lineups designed to beat Vengeance Blood or designed to beat Dragon. It's a lot harder to bring a full 3-deck lineup that's designed to beat Mid Shadow, in my opinion.
Even then, Mid Shadow is really good against Vengeance Blood. If you run Phantom Hell.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I don't care how many Black Inscriptors and Cudgels and stuff
Yes.
you have. Like, sometimes my Ektar
really
is
doesn't
still gonna
matter.
beat you.
Exactly.
Especially double Ektar into Ektar.
Yep, yep.
Or like,
guess...
I don't even Ektar early on. I just like zombie party you and grind you out of cards.
Yep.
It's a good deck.
All right. So that, I'd say, pretty much wraps up our talk about NG and our long sidebar. But I guess we will plug NG EU starts this Saturday, 10 a.m. PDT. So that's, I'm an idiot, 1 p.m. EDT. Is that right? 1 p.m. Eastern time?
I'm not a doctor.
All right, we're going to say 1 p.m. Eastern time. Lists are going to be submitted by Friday. That doesn't apply to any of you guys listening. But yeah, we'll check that out. And then NANG will be on Sunday. And they will definitely say when that is. So now I wanted to go over some of the other tournaments that are coming up. There's a whole bunch of them. So for those of you guys who missed NGE or maybe just barely didn't qualify, myself, rip, press F in chat. There are a whole bunch of other tournaments for you guys to go. So first one up is Slayer tournament. WonderMelodies, you want to talk about this? I know you're excited about this.
Yes, it is from the Slayer Cup. I personally have not entered any of their other tournaments, but I'm definitely going to do this on Sunday, 1 p.m. Korean Standard Time, because this time they got the Explosion emblem.
The Explosion.
So hyped. Just for participating, you got the emblem, and of course they have an awesome prize pool throughout the thing. This is the last time that they're going to have a Slayer Cup during the Wonderland Dreams meta, so get in on that. Get the awesome Explosion meme emblem. I've never been so excited for emblem, even when I saw Blade Hedgehog was going to be an emblem, and that's a lot.
So, Blade Hedgehog is a pretty good emblem.
I can't
I know
believe
Sarah
you just
likes
told
that one.
me. You just told me you prefer the Explosion emblem over the Bladed Hedgehog emblem. That is heresy.
Bladed Hedgehog is like Sarah's favorite emblem.
I have like 7 animated like explosions, and I hate every single one of them.
Oh, it looks so good animated though. Oh my gosh, I'm so jealous.
It gives me nightmares. I wake up in the middle of the night screaming.
Why do you have 7 of them? You waiting for the nerf?
I'm just hoping that they one day just allow me to disenchant like a whole bunch of golden cards for Seer's Globes.
That's true. That would be funny.
So is this?
So yeah, Slayer's Cup, and there's something cool about the Slayer's format,
I got a question.
right?
I got a question about Slayer's Cup though. So you were saying that this week you get the Explosion emblem. Have there been different emblems each week?
I am not sure, except I know last week it was Abby the X-Girl.
Oh, seriously? I can't believe I missed that one.
So I'm gonna assume the answer is yes to that.
That's pretty cool, actually. They got some official support.
Yeah, that's nice. Good on them.
Have you seen those Japanese emblems that are like the little chibi versions of the leaders?
Oh, from the mobile phone game that you could do like a $400 phone plan to get. Oh yeah.
I wanted those so bad.
Yeah, I'm so jealous of some of the emblems that they've got.
I want a Soul Dealer.
And they have the Daria sleeves and stuff.
Oh.
Slayer Tournament, I believe, has sort of a unique format, does it not?
So the Slayer Cup format, I believe you can just change you pick your classes that you're going in with, and then as you progress from round to round, you're allowed to switch the deck list you're on. I
believe that's correct.
Huh.
That is what I've heard in the past. I have not played one yet. However, I do believe that is correct, which is actually a pretty cool format because definitely gives you a lot more flexibility. You know, force your opponent to sort of second guess yourself, and for a closed deck format like the Slayer Cup, it has a sort of added benefit of preventing people from sort of ghosting or what is scouting for each other, because you can always switch up your decks between rounds.
And it also brings a lot of mind games to a format like that.
Oh yeah.
Yes, definitely, and I love that. I think that that's one of the biggest things in a tournament like that, and that's one of the reasons actually why I think that these NGE round robin formats have such a potential to be so cool as well. Because, and I think that that's why you're seeing some of these players who are able to get in more practice and are just spending more time preparing, really, really performing, because you know who your opponent's going to be. You know what they've played the past 2 weeks. You can really do a lot of mind games, preparing and or just switching up your own lineup in preparation for what you think your opponent's going to bring. And I think that that's something that's really cool, and that is great to see in the high-level Shadowverse scene.
And in a format like that too, it also gets kind of interesting because the classes that you bring suddenly like start mattering a lot more. Like a class like Rune, for instance. Rune is already a quite powerful class, but Rune has so many options of decks it could play. It could be playing D-Shift. It could be playing like a really fast, aggressive burn deck.
Or neutral.
And if you don't prepare your lineup the right way for the opponent you think you're going to have, just RIP to you,
Exactly.
It has so many meme decks too. Earlier in the season, I think I still have it actually. I have like 10 Rune decks just sitting in my on my deck page. D-Shift, Daria. I have that like 3 variants of that Dread Shift list. I have one that runs. It's like a control list that runs the Saha top end. Then I just have a neutral Rune control list and then a neutral Rune aggro list. There's so much.
At the beginning of the expansion, I tried playing to not so much success a spell boost Earthright deck that was like trying to play like Commence Experiments and Darias in the same list with like Ooglers and Blade Mages and Time Worn Mage Levies and the Young Levy. It was cool, man. It was playing the there's a 2-mana 2/2 with Earthright. Put a Conjured Golem into your hand. I actually think that card's pretty good. That was like the only good card I felt the deck actually had.
That was the only one that you liked out of the entire deck. I like it.
Like,
you gotta
man,
play,
strictly better than regular Lev. Strictly better than Daria.
Oh, geez.
You should have been playing PTP Guardian Golems.
PTP Guardian Golems? That deck sounds spicy.
It is hella
Could
spicy.
you imagine like playing like a grinder deck and queuing into that? How much that, like, the pain and agony would go through playing against that deck.
It's pretty much just hardcore old school. It's pretty much just hardcore old school dirt, like controlled dirt rune, but with PTPs in it.
You know what
I think that deck sucks.
It's hilarious. I'll send it to you later. It's hilarious.
All right, definitely do. So I can just tell you it's bad again.
I mean, you send me every deck I send you is bad.
I mean, every deck you send me is bad, dude. Send me some good decks.
Yo, I posted OTK Kill in Haven. It's fucking awesome.
You can't be real. Alright. So that is Slayer Tournament. I recommend everyone check it out. We might put a link in the description of the podcast pod. And then what's up next? Morningstar League is still going on. There was first Morningstar League we talked about a long time ago on this podcast. I think in episode maybe 2, where Szerro actually qualified for the invitational part of that and took home, what was second place?
I took home second place in that event.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So that is still going on. I think they're in the second season of that now.
They're in the second season of that. Fun fact, I came in second place in that event so many times, and I never took home like a first place. It was so saddening.
That's so funny.
I took home like 4 or 5 second place in that event.
I never played in it once, actually. Didn't it have a really weird ban list?
It had a wonky ban list, and it was weird because it changed every single week. And
I remember that.
And then when I was finally like getting the jam of it, like, oh yeah, I'm starting to enjoy this changing deck list kind of thing, they just went back to like, we're only playing regular Ektar Shadow mid. and we're going back to the regular format. Oh no, no, I don't want to play XR mid.
Oh, so they removed the ban lists?
They removed the ban list at like week 4 or 5.
I really
Wow.
dislike
Or
playing.
no, I think it was week 3. After week 3.
I really dislike playing tournaments with Nazi ban lists. It's kind of obnoxious.
Well, you know, some ban lists are okay. It really just depends how you do it.
It depends if like the ban list makes for a fun format, or if the ban list is just like, I don't like Shadow Reaper, so Shadow Reaper's banned.
Or it's just like you
I
just
don't
ban
like Shadow
you just
Reapers.
ban the meta deck's WinCon card, and you're just like, well, the last
There's-
meta's WinCon card is now meta.
Find another way to win.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh man, there was one where like, I remember there was one tournament where they were banning like Roach and everything like that, and PTP Roach was just, or PTP Forest was just crushing every single week.
Wait, wasn't it our meme league?
That might have happened. That definitely happened to our meme league once, but it happened to other events too. It happened.
Yeah,
to
it
other
happened in
events,
the first week of Dream League, I believe.
I think that's just a mistake. A lot of
Yeah.
tournament organizers.
Like PTP is like not a meta deck, but it's actually just like almost the best deck.
It's a lot stronger than we realize.
Same with D-Shift. Like, it's
Yeah.
always there. Like, people forget about it, but it's lingering in the darkness and ready to absolutely destroy.
Yeah,
As
it's like
soon
these
as you
decks that
forget.
are just only kept down by the tier 1 decks, like not at all kept down by the tier 2 decks.
And sometimes like these decks, they are kept down by the tier 2 decks, and they just can't because like they're kind of fragile decks usually, and they lose to these simple things like a D-Shift deck will lose to just like sometimes the meta is just a little too fast. The tier 1 decks don't have to necessarily be too fast. If the tier 2 decks are fast enough, that's gonna push D-Shift out.
Yeah.
I think D shift regularly loses to mid sword, and that's just like so far out of meta.
Hmm.
You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Start playing your mid sword in tournaments.
Oh god, don't recommend that to people.
Wait,
Snipe
actually
Reaper.
though, because in NGE, let's go back to that for a little bit. In NGE, a lot of people were bringing mid sword, or not a lot of people were bringing it, but rather every time mid sword was brought, it was banned. What's up with that?
I have no idea.
They said on the broadcast that they think it might just be I don't know exactly what this deck is supposed to do. I don't know what this deck is supposed to beat, so I'm gonna
And they're-
ban it and not deal with it.
Honestly, that might be a legitimate strategy.
Or
I think
I don't have
that's
practice
also what's
against
going
this.
on. But could that mean that people are supposed to be bringing mid sword just to bait the ban?
I don't think it's reliable enough to bait
Wow,
the
that's
ban
next level.
outside of like high level, small bracketed, invitational type things like NGE.
Or is it? Because I don't know, man. Is sword that bad by itself?
Okay,
I don't
so
know.
if you queued up
It-
for an open tournament that had like 100 players, and you just saw some random guy who had sword in his lineup, would you ban it?
I'd assume he was garbage. I'd be like, bring it on, I'll play your sword.
Right?
Yeah.
But then what do you do if I crush you with my sword? Then what? Where's your god now?
Then I'd be like,
No way, dude. I quit Shadowverse. I uninstalled the game. I go home and I cry myself to sleep, alright?
Yeah, cry yourself to sleep with your waifu pillows.
Yeah, alright, maybe I will.
But I don't know. I think I'm gonna go full disclosure. I think the next tournament I'm playing in, I'm gonna play that the Tyrant Shadow deck that I gotta play. I'm gonna be playing some Vengeance Blood and maybe some Sword. I don't know. I might be playing some just hardcore Monkey Sword.
Dude,
Yeah,
you
go
better be playing
mid-sword.
Dragon.
No, mid Sword is not monkey enough. You don't understand.
Pepe?
I'm going full monkey. I'm
Pepe?
playing. Are there any cards in Shadowverse that are monkeys other than Jungle Warden?
And it are actual monkeys? I don't
Yes.
know, that's a good question. We should look that up. We can ask Googlebot right now, actually, if there are any cards that are named monkey.
I don't really think so.
I'm gonna play Frogbat in my sword deck.
I think
Let's do
Jungle
it.
Warden's kind of close.
There's no
I said
card in
other-
Shadowverse with monkey in its name.
That needs to change. Buck stops here. Next expansion, Psy Games. Be there, be a square. Monkeyland Dreams. Let's go.
Monkeyland Dreams. I love it.
They just bring Spawn back, except it's a monkey and even stronger than before.
Resident Sleeper.
10-10, deal 20 damage on death.
10-10 evolve, win the game.
Evolve effect, discard your opponent's deck.
Oh my gosh.
These are all great ideas, guys. Just
Psych.
really brilliant.
They should hire
Side
me, to
games
be
hire
honest.
me to design your cards.
I've always wondered how that process went.
They
That-
just design cards and they hope for the best.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
like-
that's.
I don't know. It seems entertaining to sit down and just design cards.
It seems difficult to do that because like you're not thinking about stuff that everyone else is thinking about when you're designing these cards, and then you make like this card that you think is like innocuous, and then you realize like a few weeks later, like, oh man, some card we made like an expansion like a year ago is broken with this, and
Well,
we
yeah,
didn't even
but-
realize it because it was like a random common.
Yeah, like
That's
Baphomet.
why, or Tove. But that's why you have to run regular nerf cycles. You can't just release Jade Golem and be like, oh, well, it's broken. Oops. And then sit on
Oops.
it for 3 months. Like, because you know they're going to.
Oopsies. Yo, guys, the craziest thing just happened right this second. So I'm spinning this fidget spinner, and for whatever reason, it just starts moving the table by itself, like towards my hand every time I do it.
Oh,
Is this necessary right now?
I
You mean
don't-
you mean this isn't the time and place for this?
it's the
No.
Ghost of Ektar, obviously.
Alright, you're right.
So the
Alright.
the other tournament we have to talk about is the Shadow Nexus League, who is being casted by our very own in the call, WonderMelodies. You want to tell us a
Yes.
little bit about it?
It has a $1,000 prize pool. It's gonna be on Fridays at 6 p.m. EDT. It's a 3-deck 1-ban Swiss, so definitely be there. It runs in a league format, so your points for Swiss will be carried on from each week, and then after that, after 6 weeks, the top 16 players will compete in a bracket to win the $1,000 prize pool. So I am super hyped for this. Really happy to see like a big like standard tournament since, especially since EXG isn't doing them anymore. So I am very very hyped to be casting in this, and I really hope you guys go and join it. It should be tons and tons of fun.
Wait, you're telling me this is on Friday? Wait,
What's
so I've
the-
already missed 2 weeks.
Oh no, you've missed 1 week.
Wait, the
Um,
first week was not on Friday, right?
Yeah, no, the first week was on Wednesday because
Oh, okay,
22
thank
was
goodness.
on that. Yeah, no, you've only missed one.
Alright.
And
So
this
for
is
all
just
of you
a-
guys out there, there's no excuse. I've missed one. I'm playing all the rest. I'm going to make top 16.
Yeah, I definitely want to do that. So
No,
this,
no excuse.
it's just a regular style tournament, or are there any bands?
No,
banner
it's
restricted.
just like a standard style tournament.
So genuine question: where does the name Copper versus Bronze Only come from? Because that is very misleading.
Oh, that's
Oh,
a different one, dude. That's a different one.
Oh, my bad. I'm a
Dude,
baka.
can you not read? Literally learn to read.
All right, so segueing.
So Shadow Nexus League, it's gonna be awesome. Everyone should sign up for that. It's totally open, so anyone can sign up. You don't have to be on a team or anything. And yeah, this $1,000 prize pool, so definitely rewards for going and signing up. And remember, there are lots of people in the current NG Open bracket with really good chance of qualifying who are not on teams. So don't think that just because you've never done a tournament before, or just because you're not on a competitive team, that you don't have any chance of winning that money, because you definitely do.
Or even if you don't think you're the best at Shadowverse, like any tournament experience is
Like
so
me.
vital. Just because participating in tournament and going in ladder is such a different like mental
Oh,
experience.
yes.
So even if you think, oh well, I'm not good enough, do it anyway. Because preparing yourself mentally for things like that is just as well and important as preparing yourself with your skill.
If you ever want to get there, you got to start somewhere. I think is the most
Mhm.
important thing to say about that.
And actually, I'd like to take this quick moment for some shilling. You guys can come hop on our Discord, which we'll link in the description of the VOD, and just come talk to us. If you have any questions about tournaments, you want to do some scrims, practice for the tournament, we're pretty much always on. We don't really have lives outside of Shadowverse. And yeah, we're always there and find someone willing to help you out with tournaments. First time, or if you're a returning tournament player and you're just looking for some people to practice, we're pretty much always there and ready to help. So Yeah.
So if you couldn't tell by the desperation in Tejjy's voice, please come. We are lonely.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was going for. No, we're not that lonely. There are other people there too. You can come talk to people.
Our community is great. We got a lot of people here. It's a
Yeah.
lot of fun. Honestly, it's a lot of fun talking to everyone, and looking to expand that would only be great. Could only be great.
Absolutely. All right. So next, actually, I'm gonna skip this one and go on to. All right. No. We'll mention this. That's not. All right. So speaking of HSK, we just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a teaser. We did host the HSK Team League in the past, and we just wanted to mention that there will be another Team League-like event coming up soon. TM. It will be hosted by HSK. There will be big money, big prizes, PogChamp, and yeah, it will this time most likely be open to the public. Dun, dun, dun.
Everything hasn't been quite figured out yet, but it should be a pretty fun experience. We're really looking forward to bringing it to everyone.
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome time. The main goal is going to be to get people to play with their friends, really increase the quality and level of Shadowverse play in tournament, and get you guys some money, because big money, big prizes. Who doesn't like that, right? All right. There'll be more on that in the upcoming episodes, but that's all we've got for you right now. So moving on.
Okay.
Yes.
I am going to be hosting a tournament in September called Copperverse. It will be a bronze only tournament, so
Cough,
that's
cough.
going to have very, very fun meta. Of course, we know there's Povertyverse, which is the bronze and silver, but this is just going to be a one-off event in September. So I hope you guys join. It's really fun. This is my second tournament after Waifuverse I'm organizing, so I really hope that you guys come and participate. It should be a lot fun. There isn't really an established meta or anything for a bronze only format, so I'm looking forward to see what type of decks are going to be used in it.
Oh, I'm definitely going to be there. You
It's
know
gonna
that
be
I'm.
fun
You
for
know that I'm
everybody.
bringing my big booty bodyguards.
Bring your bronze only ramp dragon deck.
Oh, you know it. I got Dragon Oracle. That's all I need. I got Dragon Oracle and Ayala, right?
All I need, baby. I can't even play Fortress Crab. What am I supposed to do?
Play Evan Beast Warrior, dude.
You know what kills me about Forest
No,
Crab?
because I can't play Dracomancer's rights. It doesn't work.
No. It doesn't matter.
When they
What?
designed Fortress Crab, they looked at this card and said, you know,
You know what? This card would be busted if it didn't have to Evo.
this card would be broken if it gained stats when it evoed. So it just doesn't. It just
Someone at Side Games had the audacity to look at that card and say, this would be straight up broken if it gave even +1/+1.
The buck stops here.
I can't wait to play Copperverse and bust out my Goliath tech.
Goliath, Tech,
Oh.
PogChamp.
You don't even know, Keishi. I'm bringing Desert Rider. Are you kidding me?
This man is going to be playing Goliath when he could just be playing Big Knuckle.
Dude, this man's gonna be playing Goliath, a 3/4, when he could be playing Desert Rider, a 4/3.
I'll play Okami and a forest deck.
Who do you think you are? Anyways, that should be a lot of fun. There's gonna be a lot of cards there that you might not even know exist. There's a lot of bronzes in the game.
I'm trying to figure out like what I would want to play, and nothing immediately powerful stands out to me. Because like everything that I'm thinking of has a rare or a legendary in it so far.
You could play like super low curve aggro dragon and with Seabrands and Dragon Club
Seabrand?
Pendant.
Is Seabrand in a bronze? Ooh, that's a good idea.
I'm thinking I actually just want to play straight up degenerate aggro blood, like just as degenerate as monkey as it goes. You know,
Oh
just
man,
like
that's actually an idea. I
Blood
like
Wolf, Razory Claw, Implancer. Those only 3 cards you need, right?
that. Wait, is this the time? Is it? Am I finally gonna be able to just play my Monkey Forest with my Beetle Warriors and just Evo that?
Oh,
Go
jeez.
for it.
Do it.
I'm gonna have so
man,
much fun casting this
I'm
event.
gonna have to. I want
Flower
to.
Princess is bronze.
Flower Princess is a bronze. Ooh.
Kindly Treants are bronze.
No, Flower Princess is actually the one thing that is banned because it produces a
That's
legendary
right. That's right.
of Thornburst. So that is the one that I know that is going to be banned.
All right.
Why is Flower Princess banned but not Prince of Darkness, Kappa?
Good start.
Oh,
I'm not even gonna dignify that with a response.
Implying you didn't just give me the response I was looking for.
All right. That's all right. So that's enough about tournaments. Let's move on. I wanted to talk. We've been talking a lot about this, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the meta, more sort of focused on the meta. I had a couple questions here that I wanted to ask you guys. What's your thoughts on? So there's been a lot of talk recently, especially in our Discord, our community, about what are the tier 0 decks right now? What is considered sort of the best tournament decks, the best ladder decks in the game at the moment? We all sort of know the contenders, but there are two ones that stand out to a lot of people: Mid Shadow and Vengeance Blood. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts on which of these do you think is better, which do you think is good in the Mid Shadow versus Vengeance Blood, and what are you guys' thoughts? Do you think one of them is tier 0 over the other? Do you think they're both tier 0? Do you think neither of them is significantly better than the other meta decks? What do you think?
Well, one thing I want to say is I feel like with Vengeance Blood, it's a little since like in tournament, Vengeance Blood and Bat's Blood will take up the same deck slot regardless. So I think it's more, rather than say Vengeance Blood, I think it's more of an aggressively skewed blood. Because those decks are the ones that, like, blood decks, they tend to be either Vengeance or either Bats, and neither has come off on top as the dominant best one between the two.
I think they both have their definite strengths and weaknesses. Where Karabat is a pure aggro deck, and Vengeance tends to play more towards a mid-range style.
I'd agree with that.
So,
but we see Vengeance still have that. They can still blow you out. They can blow you out of the water. The game can be over on turn 5. Like, they still get those fast out the gates hot type openings.
Especially if you're an animal like Szerro and I, and still run Devil of Vengeance Soul Dealer.
I'm not playing Devil of Vengeance anymore, actually. I'm still playing the Soul Dealer.
I'm disappointed in you.
But it does have that downside. Just like it can sometimes just get the God draw in the game on turn 5, it can also just draw 2 Air Jammers and Dark General in your opening hand, and you don't do anything, and you just lose. Or if you get Belf, you just die to a Phantom Hell.
But you could also just draw like 3 Caraboss in your Caraboss Blood. So
I usually don't even mind that though. I've actually drawn all 3 of them before, and I played them all 3 back to back.
I have never had more than 2 on running at a time.
The guy I was playing against actually conceded.
Yeah, once you get 3 of those online, the game's over. Like, let's be real.
Game's over for somebody, that's for sure.
They're taking 3 damage a turn. You're drawing 4 cards a turn.
But you're only out like, I'm assuming to get 3 of those online, you need to start jamming those as early as turn 6, right?
Yeah. I always play at turn 6 if it's in my hand.
So you're drawing 4 cards a turn, but you're at 6 mana. You're like, what do?
You just play like 3 Razor Claws in the game.
I played against someone who played, I think, 2 of them, and I just ground him out the entire game. I was playing some stupid control deck, and I ground him out the whole game, and he legit just decked himself out, and that's how I won. Because he was drawing 3 cards a turn.
Yikes.
And playing maybe 1 a turn, so he just kept milling cards.
That's a fun way to win a game.
All right, so my thoughts on this conundrum is I'll expand the question, I guess. Mid Shadow versus the sort of aggressively styled blood decks like Keishi suggested or Sarah suggested. In my opinion, I think Mid Shadow has the edge to me, and I think I mentioned this earlier, just because in a tournament meta, especially, Mid Shadow is really hard to bring a Mid Shadow sniping lineup. You can try. There are people who try, but I have not seen much success in just straight up sniping Mid Shadow with a 3-deck lineup. Vengeance Blood, on the other hand, has always been sort of snipeable, especially when it was kind of meta last expansion. You could bring counter decks to Vengeance Blood. It's not that hard. Lowering yourself to 10 HP is not a game plan that's conducive to really stable across the board matchups.
There are some decks that want to kill you fast, and those are not the types of decks you want to be playing against. If you're setting yourself when you're going turn 4
Exactly.
Soul Dealer, that's not what you want to be
So
doing.
turn 4 Belphegor, you don't. Yeah, you need that turn 5 Diabolic Drain, or you're gonna be in trouble pretty fast.
And even if you have it, you still might be in trouble pretty fast.
Yeah, I felt at the beginning of the Wonderland Dreams meta, people were, especially in ladder, sort of sleeping on the mid shadow because of the nerfs and everything, and there's a very much focus on blood in general, be it vengeance or what have you. But especially after the nerf, it seems that more and more people are getting into realizing, oh wait, mid shadow is still really, really good, and
Yes.
hopping back on that train that they got off a little bit for blood.
Yeah.
I think what happened was people were just tired of playing Shadow for a bit, and they're like, man, we got these
Yeah.
new broken things. Let's play with the new broken things for a bit.
I agree.
And then the new broken things went away. So like, oh man, all we have is these broken things.
There's this Iktar that they're never gonna nerf.
I mean, Mid Shadow doesn't even feel the same way it did last expansion.
I
Yeah, I do
actually
like
really,
that.
I actually really like the way Mid Shadow feels to play against nowadays. It does not feel nearly as bad. Like if I get Soul Squashed, I'm like, all right, give it to me. Spend 4 shadows. I don't care anymore. Like back in the day, I would get Soul Squashed, and I would just be like, man, the game's over.
Yeah. But now they don't have the Shadow Reaper into Catacombs to follow it up. is the thing.
Aww.
Thank God for that.
Thank
you-
goodness.
Was it in NGE that somebody had brought the Shadow Reaper
Yeah,
over
someone
the
played
weekends? That
Yo,
was
I got destroyed by Shadow Reaper the other day. The guy got exactly thrown to me with like an Iktar Shadow Reaper and like some crazy trades.
dude. I think Shadow Reaper's still probably all right.
I mean,
I mean,
you say that, but you say
Shadow
everything.
is kind of lacking decent 3-drops. It's like Bone Chimera and Attendant of Night,
We-
and
We see people are going back to playing Rabbit Necromancers too.
I think that's for exclusively like way more aggressive lists. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's playable. It's playable at least.
Well, I think that's like I said, one of the cool things about NGE is we're seeing these decks that are sort of more, but it's also one of the things that I would caution viewers who are looking at net decking from NGE. I would definitely caution you from doing that because a lot of these decks are very specifically tacked for what they expect their one opponent for that week to bring. So I wouldn't just blindly net deck from NG. I would look at the cards that they're bringing and think about, oh, why is he playing this Rabbit Necromancer? Well, maybe his opponent was playing Vengeance Blood. Maybe he's trying to make a more aggressively styled deck to beat some control or something. They don't. These players are not just bringing like blanket decks to just sort of
Ladder or what have you.
These are not ladder decks.
Their decks are actually like, for some people, they are specifically tailored for the person they're planning on playing against.
Yes.
But back to the original question, Mid Shadow versus Vengeance Blood, which is better? I think Shadow is the better deck, and I want to also add to this that I actually think Karabat Blood is better than Vengeance Blood.
Really?
But still worse than Shadow, even if slightly.
Interesting.
Yeah, Shadow's
This
still
is a
better.
personal bias of mine, but my experience playing
Alright.
Vengeance Blood is what I said earlier. You get the bricked hand sometimes, and you set yourself to 10, and then sometimes you just die to some crazy storm damage from hand. And that happens less frequently with the Karabat list, and I prefer it by far and away.
Alright.
The thing is, like, with those decks that have like the huge reach damage, those are not the decks you're planning on like taking out with Vengeance Blood. You're planning on like bullying the decks like Midrange Shadow that want to like keep control of the board. You want to like play that huge big threat, get that big burst damage in real quick, and just try to snipe them.
I agree. Vengeance Blood is more of a deck that you bring for a reason, where Mid Shadow is just a deck you bring because, oh, hey, it rounds out my lineup, and people aren't going to be able to pick on it very well.
But I think that versatility is a huge part of why it's so good. It's just good into everything.
Well, the thing with Shadow is like, it's very similar to how it was before. It's a little right now, but it's so consistent at doing what it does. It does what it does very well just against the field. And I think it's just because of that, it's just naturally the strongest. Like, it's the alpha male deck right now. Like, every deck has to have legs against Shadow unless you're planning on banning Shadow.
Yes. And even if it does, sometimes people just ban shadows. The strategy just being,
Just
I don't want to deal with that.
understandable. Don't blame them.
Yes. I don't want to deal with mid shadow. That deck is just strong.
And
That's a legitimate ban strategy.
and when you know that you're going into a format where so many people are going to be bringing Shadow because so many people realize it's one of the best decks, because if they're not going to be playing regular mid-range Shadow, they might be playing Nephthys. Like, it's not like it's only mid-range.
Yes.
The class is very diverse.
Well, I don't know if I'd call 2 decks diverse, but yeah.
Hold
But,
on
like,
there, buddy.
Runecraft
It's not
is diverse.
it's not. Runecraft is incredibly diverse. Like, it's not nearly as diverse as Runecraft is. But the thing about Shadow is, like, mid Shadow can be built in so many different ways. It can be built fast. It can be built to go a long game. Like, even with Nephthys Shadow, we see the ledger lists. We see the more all-in control lists.
I think Shadowcraft has a huge benefit because so many people have played it for like 5 months now. You know, there's a lot of people playing it, so you have a huge sample size
Right.
and a lot of people trying different things. But just within mid-range Shadow, there's huge diversity, you can even call them different archetypes of mid-range Shadow. You know, there's aggressive mid-range lists, there's value mid-range lists, there's mid-range lists that literally only focus on, you know, filling your board with skeletons so you get the Ector off a bunch of 1/1s.
Yep. No, I agree with you.
There's a Minth Tyrant, which is what I've been playing. You know, there's a lot of it.
And the thing is, like, I think what we're seeing right now is the strongest deck, the strongest classes are the ones that also have all of these options that it can go into. Like, Blood right now, we don't see Control Blood too much, but Control Blood is quite strong right now. And we also have the Bat's Blood and the Vengeance Blood that we were talking about earlier. With Rune, Rune has like 1.5 million different types it can go into right now.
To add on to the Blood, Control Blood has been peeking its head out a little bit.
I thought I said Control Blood. Maybe
You said Karabat and Vengeance.
I thought I had said Control before that, but thank you.
If you did, I didn't hear it. I don't listen to you anyways.
Damn straight. So
yeah. All right. So it sounds like mid shadow sort of definitively the best deck in our opinion. Bloodcraft probably being close behind, and a lot of other decks. Runecraft is very powerful. Dragoncraft is very powerful. There are a lot of options in the current meta right now, and I'm actually pretty happy with it where the meta's at.
I think right now.
I wish they'd nerf Ektar a little.
I think right now, like, the main thing, you think they should nerf Ektar? I feel like my opinion on Ektar within this expansion has really changed. Whereas last expansion, I could not stand Ektar. I was so tired of hearing my head can't be taken. This head can't be taken. Like, I'd see that card and I'd be like, of course you have Ektar. Why wouldn't you have Ektar on turn 7 for the 4th game in a row? You know?
Yeah.
So, but like nowadays, I feel like Shadow, it draws so many cards. I don't mind losing to Ektar anymore. Like, to me, it feels more like I'm used to them having it.
Oh, I don't mind them having it. I mind how powerful it is. I mind the fact that they drop Ektar on the board and just blows my game state out of the water. Like, I've carefully cultivated 6 turns of a board state, and they just blow it out of the water in 1 turn.
It's been in the game for so long that we're all kind of really, really good at playing around it now.
Something that I don't know if I actually mean this. Like, I might be saying something kind of crazy right now, but like, in the expansions down the line, when we see other classes start to get more tools, I would not mind at all to see Shadow get another effect like Ektar, so that they have, like, where kind of like how Ramp Dragon has so many different ramp effects. Now Shadow has so many different versions of its win condition, and they're all like alternative. Because, like, if you think about Thane is quite similar to Ektar. But if we have an effect like that, like they both have they both allow you to control the board. They give you some form of value. Both cost necromancy of some sort, and they both push base damage. And I would not mind if, like, we have more cards like Ektar that maybe come out on a different play point that will allow Shadow. Not exactly like Winged God. Something I guess something like that just feels shadowy. I would not mind, like, more crazy, like another bomb for. That's the word I'm looking for. Another bomb for Shadow. I would not mind that. But that'd be granted. I would want other classes to get something.
I mean, personally, I'd prefer them to come out with something a little more unique. I really like innovation in card design.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. I think I could get behind a different actor, just so that people will play something else.
But for WinCon that big, I would say maybe wait another expansion, so maybe Shadow could settle down a little bit on being tier 0 all the time.
Yep. Hopefully we'll have an expansion. I mean, to be fair, Shadow was a meme deck for like 3 expansions before it finally became tier 0 for 2.
I wouldn't even call Shadow tier 0 right now. Like, to me, it sits solidly at tier 1. I don't think it's like strictly better than everything else.
But it was at definitely last.
I mean, I think you can put Shadow and Bloodcraft in tier 0 because I think they are both strictly better than everything else.
I think like Ektar Shadow when TOTG first came out was tier 0. I think Spawn Blood and Phantom Blood were tier 0 when those came out, but I think now after the nerfs, I don't think they're tier 0. I think they sit happily at tier 1. Like nothing about them feels just inherently broken, at least to me.
I think maybe we're interpreting tier 0 differently. I'm just interpreting it as the best, not necessarily broken, but.
All right. So I guess tier 1 or tier 0, I think we can all agree that it's definitely one of the best decks in the game right now. But that is, I think, about all the time we've got this week. So we're going to quickly wrap up, and thank you so much to WonderMelodies for joining us this week.
Thank you so much for having me.
It was our pleasure. So we're going to do some quick shout-outs again. We've got our Discord. We're going to link that. We're going to link our Twitter. I think we are at Hollowed Sky, at hallowed_sky. And, oh yeah, I guess quickly we could mention that Szerro has been doing Card of the Day for 100 days now. He just hit card number 100, so you can go check those out on Reddit.
Today was Soul Dealer.
Yeah, today was Soul Soup Dealer. There's a new one posted every single day. Not always by Szerro, but always by TK, so you can check those out. You can post on our Discord, and we have links to all the other teams' Discords, to the Shadow Nexus, etc., etc. So you can find those from there. And Melody, if they want to find you on Twitch, where can they find you?
They could find me at twitch.tv/WonderMelodies or at Twitter at WonderMelodies_.
All right. And you can find us at, I believe, twitch.tv/HollowSkySV. And we will link all of those in the description. So that's about it for this week. Thank you guys for listening. I'm Tejjy, and this is...
I'm Szerro. Before we sign off, I want to give a shout out to our boy Angry. His HSK Angry, he has gone off in our chat, in our Discord. His name has been changing every single day to like different emojis, and I don't even know what's going on anymore.
I wasn't even gonna say anything. I was laughing so hard. You guys are an animal. All right, but that's about it for this week. So on behalf of everyone over here, have a good evening, and bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.